It's time to breathe again on the Breath of Fresh Air webcast on YouTube. I am your host, Charles Taylor, and I am writing solo for this episode again. Um, Before I get started, I wanted to send a shout out to my friend, to my road dog, to my boy Patrick Brackett. He's going through some things right now. He had a death in the family, and he won't be with us tonight because he's going through that with his family. So I just wanted to say to Patrick, if you are watching, remember, I have your back. I got you. If you need anything, let me know. He actually talked to me today, and he said that he was still trying to do a shorty. I said, don't worry about it. If he sends it, then of course I'll go ahead and post it. But I told him that he didn't have to, for him to be whenever he's ready, and he could go ahead and come on back. But just know, Patrick, the seed's still here for you when you are ready to come back. No, I have your back. I got you. And prayers are with you. So with that, we'll do the difficult transition from what I just talked about to what the show is about today. And this is our NFL preview. And Patrick, make sure you get those picks to me when you can too. But this is our NFL preview show. And I'm going to go through all the divisions. I'm going to give you the wild cards I think that will be in there. And I will also have a pick for who I think will play in the Super Bowl this year. I think it's in Tampa this year. So let's get started with these divisional picks. We'll start in the AFC since the champion came from the AFC last year with the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll get to them in a minute. But let's start with the AFC East. And you have the New England Patriots, the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, and the New York Jets. So I am a believer of if something is going to change, I have to see that change. For so long, the New England Patriots have been the team to beat in this division, like forever. I give it about 2 decades now that New England has been there. Hi, Christina. How you been? Good to hear from you. But I think New England, yeah, they lost a few people, but then they went and they got Cam Newton to play quarterback. He's going to be motivated. He's still not happy from when he got released by the Carolina Panthers, the only team he has played with in his career. And now you're putting him under the tutelage of Bill Belichick. That is going to be something to watch. Now, I do think the Buffalo Bills, they're an up-and-coming team. They made the playoffs last year, and they look poised to have another 10, maybe 11-win season. I like what the Miami Dolphins are doing. The draft they had was good. They got something building down there. The head coach, Brian Flores, is really putting a stamp on the team. And they have a lot of young talent. Even though they have that young talent, I don't think they're ready quite yet to contend for the division, but I do think they'll make a little bit of noise. And then you have the New York Jets. This is probably the most overhyped team in America. Well, one of them. I'll get to a couple of other ones in a minute. But I think the Jets, they're not going to do anything. They'll be in last place in that division. So for my winner of that division, I'm still going with the New England Patriots to win that division. It'll be close between them and the Buffalo Bills, but I think New England, because they have Bill Belichick. Say what you want about him. People can say he's Belichick, he cheats, he does all this, but the man is a genius. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The man knows what he is doing, and he will have the Patriots as prepared as he always does. So I'm not going against them until I see somebody knock them off in that division. And I'm going to go with the proven product here. Even though Tom Brady is gone, we'll get to him in a minute, but I still think New England is the class of the AFC East. Let's go to the AFC North, where you have the Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati Bengals. In this division, I think Baltimore is the class. I don't see anybody beating the Ravens in that division. Although those games within the division, as the case with all those divisions, are normally wars. So you have Pittsburgh, who I think if they're able to stay healthy, they can make a playoff run and they could make a run for the division. Cleveland, people are hyping them up again, thinking they're going to do something. Again, I have to believe it to see it, see it to believe it. And I think Cleveland can we get a winning season first before we want to start putting them in the playoffs, before we want to start putting them in the Super Bowl? They have done nothing for pretty much the whole time since they've been back in existence in 1999. I think they made the playoffs one year back in 2002, but I'm not buying the Cleveland stock yet. I saw a lot of people do that last year. We saw where that got them. So I stayed away from that stock last year. I'm going to stay away from that stock this year. And then you have Cincinnati. Cincinnati can make some noise. They got Joe Burrow as the number one draft choice they picked up. If Cincinnati is able to stay healthy on offense, they can have a prolific offense. So I think Cincinnati can surprise some people as well. But in that division, I'm going Baltimore. I think it will be them who wins the division and maybe even possibly home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They did that last year, but we saw them go one and done. So I think Baltimore will still do their thing in this division, and they will be the winners of that division. Pittsburgh could push them, but I'm going Baltimore. Now, let's go to the AFC South. This is a division I have no idea what's going to happen here. You have 4 teams in here starting. Well, okay. Jacksonville's in trouble. We'll start with the Jacksonville Jags. They're in some turmoil. I wouldn't be surprised if they had the worst record in the league. But I think I'm going. I'm still trying to decide that one. I think I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans in this one. The Houston Texans, they've won the division the last couple of years, but they haven't done anything with it really. And when they are in a position to do anything, they're going to blow a 24-0 lead like they did last year in the game against the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional playoff. But they've lost DeAndre Hopkins as a weapon, as a receiver. We'll see what they get with Brandon Cooks being there, maybe taking his place. But I don't know how Houston's going to be. They still have Bill O'Brien as their head coach. That's never a good thing. So I'm going to go by default with the Tennessee Titans by default. The Indianapolis Colts, they're interesting. They picked up Phillip Rivers, and I really don't know how good of a pickup that is because Phillip Rivers, he'll take some chances, and he has been known, especially in these last couple of years, to throw games away. So if he's going to be that guy, I don't see where the Colts have improved. And maybe they can get some good running game behind them, and the Colts can run the ball well. They're going to need that if they're going to make any noise. But for now, I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans to win the AFC South by default. And then we have the AFC West. You have the Kansas City Chiefs playing with the Las Vegas Raiders. The San Diego, man, I'm all messed up in this division. I'm still calling them their old names. All right. Las Vegas Raiders, Los Angeles Chargers, and the Denver Broncos. I don't see anybody beating Kansas City in this division. They're loaded on offense. Patrick Mahomes, the MVP of the Super Bowl and the MVP a couple years ago for the season. He's coming back with that cachet of weapons, including Tyreek Hill, Nicole Hardman, Damian Williams, Travis Kelce, a tight end. There's a lot going good for the Chiefs, and their defense looks to be improved. So I don't see anybody beating them in that division at all. Now, let's go to the NFC. I'll come back to the AFC and give the wild cards here in a little bit. Yeah, but you know what? We can go ahead and give the wild cards to the AFC. For me, I think the Buffalo Bills get one of those wild cards. And I'm also going with I'm gonna go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. How you doing, Gina? Good to see you on here. Glad that you tuned in to watch. I really appreciate it. Uh, I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers to get that second wild card. As long as they stay healthy, they have a formidable team. You know they're going to play defense in Pittsburgh. It's just a matter if Big Ben Roethlisberger can stay healthy at the quarterback position. James Conner also at the running back spot, and they lost Juju Smith-Schuster for a good little bit of the season as well. That's your three top offensive players, and they still made a run under the tutelage of head coach Mike Tomlin. So if they are able to stay healthy, I think Pittsburgh will get one of those wild card spots. So I'm going Buffalo and Pittsburgh to be your wild cards in the AFC. Now, let's go to the NFC, and we will start with the NFC East. Now, this division again is up for grabs. I do think it will come down to two teams, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. Personally, I'm going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles to win this division as long as they stay healthy as well, which I think they can. And nobody, if they don't, nobody in that division is going to take advantage. Now, I know people are going to hype the Dallas Cowboys up and say they're going to win this division. I'm going no because of a couple of reasons. Number one, these are one of these teams we're always talking about who is overhyped, totally overhyped, and they never do anything, or at least they haven't in the last quarter century. Take this from somebody who lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I live, drink, I eat, sleep, and drink this all day, this horrible batch of Kool-Aid. I'm always taking this in. And the Cowboys have continuously disappointed. Now, their roster is as talented as anybody's in the NFL. We know they have a lot of talent. Dak Prescott's a good quarterback. Ezekiel Elliott's one of the best running backs in the league. You have Amari Cooper, who I think is overpaid, but whatever. He's a good receiver. And you got Michael Gallup, and they drafted CeeDee Lamb to play that slot from Oklahoma. Dallas has a lot of talent, but until they're able to put it together on the field, I'm not buying that stock. They had the division given to them last year. Did not take advantage of. Philadelphia was able to win that division with Carson Wentz throwing to my man who's in the fourth level of the Lincoln Financial Field when there were fans in there, and the dude who was down the street selling cheesesteaks. He literally didn't have any name players to throw to, and yet he was still able to guide them to a division win. So I'm going the Philadelphia Eagles in that division until proven not otherwise. This isn't to say the Cowboys can't win it, but I just don't think they will. Then you have the New York Giants. They have some young talent in there, but I don't think they're going to make any noise in terms of winning the division. And then you have Washington, who can't even come up with a name for their team. So I don't expect them to really win any games if they can't even get that right. So Eagles will win the NFC East, in my estimation. Next is the NFC North. Now, this division can be interesting if all the teams come together. You have the Green Bay Packers, who won the title last year, or the divisional title last year, and was the number 2 seed in the NFC. The Minnesota Vikings are also in that division, and they were 10-6, won the wild card. And then you have the Chicago Bears. They're going to be formidable, I think, because they can play defense. It's just a matter of can they get this quarterback situation settled. I give them a shot if they let Nick Foles play. If Mitch Trubisky is going to be your starter, no shot for the Bears at all to win that division. And then you have the Detroit Lions, who they compete. They're not going to go quietly, but I don't think they have enough to win the division. A lot of people think the Packers are in a little bit of trouble because of the stuff that happened with their draft. They went and picked the quarterback to I guess, maybe shadow Aaron Rodgers, or maybe this is the heir apparent to Aaron Rodgers. But I don't think this is that big of a deal. Aaron Rodgers is your starter. He's going to be fine. He's going to do what he has to do. And I think the Packers are still the team to beat in the NFC North. It's it's I won't say it's them and everybody else. I don't think they're that good uh over everybody else, because Minnesota Vikings, they're pretty good in their own right. I personally don't have any faith in Kirk Cousins still. I have slightly more faith in Kirk Cousins than I did last year, just based off of him making the throws he made in that wild card game in New Orleans to lead them to that win. But I think this will be Green Bay's division. They should win. I see them still getting 11, maybe 12 wins, and they'll be the winners of that division. Next, let's go to the NFC South, because this division, it can go a lot of different ways. Personally, I think the New Orleans Saints will win that division. I know what Tampa Bay has done. I know what the Buccaneers have done, picking up Tom Brady, picking up Rob Gronkowski. Their offense looks to be really potent. They already had Mike Evans and Goodwin to throw to, and the with Gronkowski being added, Tom Brady's going to have a lot of weapons to throw to. I'm not sold on Tampa Bay's defense, though. I'd have to see a little bit more out of their defense. I just think New Orleans is the most complete team in that division. Now, your wild card is the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm not saying they're a wild card as in they're going to win one of the wild cards, but they're a team who has the talent, much like the Dallas Cowboys. They have the talent to really do some damage in the conference. They have the weapons. We know what Matt Ryan is capable of doing. Julio Jones, still one of the best receivers in the league. They picked up Todd Gurley in the offseason. He should be pretty well motivated after getting cut by the Rams. So I think the Falcons are one of those teams to watch, because because the Falcons are capable of putting up numbers. They have the talent to go 12-4, maybe 13-3. They can also go 4-12, 3-13, just depending on the day with the Falcons. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints to win that division. The Carolina Panthers, they got the new head coach, Matt Rule, to take the place of Ron Rivera, who has been there for a little bit. They got Teddy Bridgewater there playing quarterback position. I don't know what is going to happen with the Panthers, but they're in a tough division. So I wouldn't be surprised that they're in last place. But I'm going with the Saints to win that division. Finally, we'll take a look at the NFC West. Now, this division has the potential to be the toughest division in the league. When you have the San Francisco 49ers, who were the runners-up of the Super Bowl, of course, that's my team. I'm still hurting from that loss, but hopefully we can make up for it this year. But you got the 49ers in there with the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks, as you know, with Russell Wilson at quarterback, they are always in it. They are never out of it. They are always a team that can make some noise because they have Russell Wilson as the quarterback. He's always going to keep them in it. They're just a tough out. So even though I can't stand Seattle, I know how tough they are. They are going to be right there in the mix. The Arizona Cardinals have a lot of talent on their team, and they are coming. They could be the surprise team of the league. They could be that team that people are talking about, wondering what got over them, or basically the team people are just surprised to see what they can do. Arizona could win. They could win 9 or 10 games in my estimation. I mean, they're that potent offensively, and they were in a lot of the games last year. They lost a lot of close ones. So I guess what I'm saying with the Arizona Cardinals is, don't be surprised if they do make an appearance in the playoffs. If they do get a wild card, don't be surprised with that. And with this being one of those crazy years because of COVID, anything can happen. There's a lot of uncertainty going on. with how teams may play, with how they may have dealt with everything going on with COVID. But look out for Arizona. And then you have the LA Rams. Uh, I think they're on the way down, but they'll still be tough as well. They're not going anywhere. They'll be a team that's going to compete. They still have a lot of those players from when they went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and they're not going to be a team that's going to be a pushover. But with that division, I can easily see them being in last place, and I tend to think they will be in last place. So I'm going, of course, with the San Francisco 49ers to win that division. They're still pretty well packed from the team that went to the Super Bowl last year. And I do think Jimmy Garoppolo will improve. He'll continue to get better. A lot of people are down on Jimmy Garoppolo. We have to remember this or last year was his first full year as a starting quarterback. The other times, or excuse me, before he joined the 49ers, he had only played, 7 games? Or no, take that back. He played 7 games going into last year. The year before. The year before, he got injured in week 3. So last year was his first full year being a starter. I only see him improving, seeing him get better. We know they can run the ball well with Raheem Mostert and Tevin Coleman. George Kittle, in my estimation, is the best tight end in the league. He's still there. Actually just got a deal to stay there. So the 49ers and that defense is still going to be nasty with Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, those boys coming after the quarterback. So I'm going with the 49ers to win that division. Wild cards. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. Because like I said, with Russell Wilson in there, they're never out of the game. And I will go with, I've been fighting with this one, but I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings to get that other wild card. Now, so here's the deal. When you look at what Tampa Bay has done for their moves in the offseason, I can understand where people would have them as the trendy pick to win that one of the wild cards, if not the NFC South as a whole. But we have to remember the NFC is loaded. And if we're basing things off of last year, if you're not winning 10 or more games, you're not getting into the playoffs. The Minnesota Vikings were the last wild card, or they got the second wild card. They won 10 games last year. The Seattle Seahawks won 11 games and was a wild card. So you just, the NFC is loaded. This is a tough conference to win. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Tampa Bay get one of those wild cards, but I'm saying I have to see it to believe it. So I'm going with the Seahawks and the Vikings to get those wild cards. So if you noticed with these picks, it's really not too different from what you saw last year in the playoffs. I guess the only difference is the Texans aren't in the playoffs like they were last year, or at least in my estimation. The Texans aren't in the playoffs. The Texans aren't in the playoffs. Patriots made it, Ravens made it, Chiefs made it, Bills made it. And the Titans made it last year. So I guess I'm replacing the Steelers or the Texans with the Steelers. And then in the NFC, no difference. I have no difference. So yeah, basically I'm going pretty chalk. Oh, my Super Bowl pick, speaking of chalk, I think it will be the 49ers and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl once again. Yes, I have a rematch for last year's Super Bowl. I just think these two teams are better than the rest. Baltimore may push the Chiefs to get into the Super Bowl from the AFC side. And the NFC, like I said, it is loaded, very, very loaded. But I just think the 49ers are the best team in there. I think the Chiefs have asserted themselves as the best team in the AFC. So I see a rematch of the Super Bowl in Tampa coming up in February. So those are my picks on paper. I hope to get Patrick's picks here soon. Like I said, he's dealing with some personal issues, and I hope everything turns out for that. And like I said, Patrick, I got you if you need anything. So that's what I have for the picks. I would like to hear what you guys have, who you think are going to win the divisions, who you think are going to win the wild cards, and who you think are going to the Super Bowl. Go ahead, leave those comments, leave the feedback, and let me know what you think. If you agree or disagree with the picks, you know I would be more than happy to have that debate with you. So until then, that is what I am breathing on for this Breath of Fresh Air webcast special with this NFL preview. Make sure you visit the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel and smash that subscribe button. And also keep the likes coming on the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page. So, like I said, I know there are definitely other things going on in sports. You got the NBA and NHL playoffs still going. As a matter of fact, as I'm watching right now, the Toronto Raptors and the Boston Celtics look like they're about to go to a second overtime in that series or in that game. This is game 6. Boston is up 3-2, and the winner of that game and that series will play the Miami Heat, who knocked out the Milwaukee Bucks, a team that I thought would come out of East, the team a lot of people thought would come out of the East. They knocked them out. So the Miami Heat await the winner of the Raptors and Celtics. In the West, you have the LA teams, both the Lakers and the Clippers, up 2-1 over the Rockets and the Nuggets, respectively. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Major League Baseball, they're starting to wind down their season. And then, like I said, the NHL, they are in the conference final round. So make sure you continue to stay tuned to this webcast. I will be here following everything. And hopefully I can get a shorty out there to you. If Patrick doesn't do it himself, hopefully we can get some shorties out there for you before the week is out. So again, everybody take care. Leave the feedback on this webcast about the NFL picks, who you think is going to win the division. I would love to hear your thoughts. Until then, everybody take care and have a good rest of the week.